I see like a migration like I've never seen before of New Yorkers migrating to the South or just getting out of New York, period. And it's like, it's so funny because at one point in time, New York was the place to be. You know, everybody wanted to be there. Everybody wanted a piece of the 5 boroughs. You understand? But now it's totally different, you know. And I know as an adult, see, when I was younger, I looked through a younger person's eyes, and it was the glitter and the glamour of New York that attracted me, you know. And I have to be honest with you all. I've never lived in New York on my own, and I never will. I've always stayed with family members, whether it was my father, it was my aunt, it was my cousin, or whatever have you. Because of the fact that I knew when I was living in New York, I just knew that there's no way in the world I could survive out there on my own. And I have to say this, much respect goes out to the New Yorkers that's basically like surviving right now. I don't know what for. Because as you can see, well, for those that actually venture out of New York, as you can see, there's opportunities elsewhere. Like, in other words, the South is not the South anymore. There's no dirt roads. You know, people not walking around with no shoes on, without no shoes on. You know, it's just it's the typical stereotypes of the South that's a myth, especially in this day and time. And you don't have to worry about, you know, being caught up, you know, because a lot of New Yorkers, I remember, you know, prior to the internet, and you know, big businesses coming down here, and big department stores like Macy's. We never had that, but now Macy's is here. You know, it's a bunch of businesses and restaurants that we normally didn't have prior to, you know, everybody migrating here. You see what I'm saying? So you don't have to worry about the whole thing about like, yo, I don't want to move here because they may not have this, and this, and blah, 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 blah. And then at the end of the day, even if, let's say, for example, if you used to shopping at S&D Underground, they have a website. You can order online. You see what I'm saying? It's just, at the end of the day, there's no particular reason why you should be in New York. Really. Because it's just, like, I'm gonna throw out a few reasons why you shouldn't be living in New York. The first one is taxes. I've heard of the property tax there. It's ridiculous. So it's like, hold on, I have to bust my ass and have 2, 3, 4, 5 jobs, and then, you know, I get to the point where I'm ready to own a home, and let's say I pay it off. The property tax is just as much as the goddamn mortgage. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. And I have to knock off the first one being taxes, because this is not in a particular order. What I should have said, the first thing is crime. So from what I'm seeing, it looks like New York is going back to the early 80s. Where you had Decepticons on the train, robbing, cutting people, and all the rest of that shit. Now, I don't know if it's gangs in particular that's doing that, but people are getting sliced up like they used to get sliced up in the late 80s and early 90s. People are getting robbed and shot. And at one point in time, crime decreased when Giuliani got in there. But now it's going back up. And the crazy thing about it is, you all are not able to defend yourself. So technically, the only persons that have guns are the bad guys and the police officers. So let me get this right. I'm living in New York, right? I have a problem. Somebody's breaking into my house. I have to get on the phone, call 911, and say, hey, listen, somebody's breaking into my house. And then tell the robber, hey, listen, I understand that you want to break into my house and take the items that I have, that I've worked my ass off. But listen, please wait, please be patient. The cops are coming here, and you all can discuss and handle whatever business y'all got going on. It's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. You see, if somebody busts in my door here in Charlotte, North Carolina, I can pull out my Canic or my Sig Sauer and handle that. Now, just because I have a gun, that doesn't make me a tough guy. Just because I have a gun, that doesn't state that I'm gonna win the battle. But at least I have a fighting chance. You all don't. It is illegal for you all to have guns. And basically, even, let's just say for the sake, it's not technically illegal, but the amount of red tape that you all have to go through in order to get a firearm is ridiculous. Here in good old North Carolina, us country folks, hey, hiya. You know what I'm saying? Us country folks, we can walk around. It's an open carry state. I could walk around with my gun on my hip. If I got beef, if people want to smoke, it's not saying that I'm a bad, I'm tough enough. I'm saying, in other words, what I'm saying, under the constitutional right, the Second Amendment, I have the right to bear arms. And here in the state of North Carolina, we can do it. Period. So I take it from looking at the news and looking at different YouTubers that all 5 boroughs are experiencing a ridiculous amount of crime. So you mean to tell me I'm going downstairs, coming out of my building, I'm going to the local bodega that's on the corner, I just want to get a turkey sandwich, cheese on it, provolone cheese, lettuce, tomatoes, a little bit of olive oil, salt and pepper, on a wheat bun, with some salt and vinegar wise potato chips on the side, and a grape juice. And as I'm coming out, let me get a couple of Swedish fish too. As I'm coming out, I'm gonna get shot up. Come on, man, that's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. Why do you all want to live there? I'm just trying to understand that. Like right off the rip, when I talk about crime and how you're not able to protect and defend yourself, it should be an open and closed case. You should be I'm telling you, you should be packing your bags while you're listening to this video. While you're listening to it, for real. Because listen, let me tell you something. I'm never gonna live in a state or live in a country where they don't permit me to carry my guns or have guns available, you know what I'm saying, if someone were to break in. Here in North Carolina, I just got my certificate. I'm waiting on my interviews to get fingerprinted and all that stuff, from the sheriff's department. And once I get all of that situated, I'll have my CCW, my concealed carry weapon. That means that I can tuck my gun under my shirt, in my pants, where nobody can see it. It's just ridiculous to me. New York's weather is ridiculous. It's hot as shit in the summer, cold as shit in the winter. There's no medium in between. It's just like I lived there. I used to live there, and I'm telling you, I have no thoughts I haven't been to New York since 2010. No, 2008. And I really don't I got family there. My father's there. My father's side of the family is there. You know what I'm saying? My family on my father's side is there. I have no intentions on visiting anytime soon. Period. If anything, I'll go further down south to visit, like Miami. Period. It's just, the hype is gone. Everything is done. New York is done. Period. You know what makes New York, New York? It's the culture. And the culture it exists within the people. So I'm not telling you to come down here and turn the South into New York. First and foremost, the Southerners not going to allow you to do that. That's the first thing. You have to respect their home. That's the first thing. But the second thing is, you don't have to give up anything. You just don't. You're not giving up anything. You're living, it's a thing called, what's it called? Aura infringement. It's where you live in a building, right? And there's someone staying on the right, the left, on top, and bottom, and across from you. And based on these people that stay around you and how their attitudes are throughout the course of the day, will infringe on your aura. In other words, it will change your energy. Somebody right on the side of you may be banging on the door. Or banging and yelling and screaming. Somebody over here may be having sex. Somebody up here may be selling drugs. Somebody down there may be blasting their music. Somebody across from you may be a whore, maybe having men coming in and out. You never know. And that's just on that you're going through that, and that could be one floor. You can experience that on this. Let's just say 18 floors, and you got to deal with 18 floors of 18 people. Let's say about in that particular building, let's say it's about 5,000 people. You got to deal with 5,000 attitudes if you're living in a high-rise building or on the projects. You want that? You want that for your life? You want to be all cluttered up? You know what I'm saying? The dollar van ain't even a dollar anymore. I'm more than sure last time I was up there it was like $250. It's probably about $350 right now. Like, what are the advantages of it? What is the advantage of New York like convenience? So let me get this right. I'm just gonna let you know, like, if you were to come down here in the South or anywhere outside of New York, really, you're gonna need a car. What's a ride? I just went to the grocery store. It was 4 minutes. What is a 4-minute ride? What is it? Because I could tell you the positives of the South. I mean, good weather. Land. You can own a house or rent a house and have a front yard, a backyard. You know, nobody staying on top of you. If you live in an apartment, you can live in a nice luxury apartment that has amenities. Yo, listen, let me tell you something. My father, the first apartment I got here was called the Oaks, right? My father came, right? He was like, yo, this is nice. He was like, yo, I was paying one bedroom, I think it was $850. I was paying for that apartment at the Oaks. It was a gated community. And the office, it was a gym, it had an indoor basketball court. It had workout, the machines and stuff, and free weights. And then it had a saltwater pool. It had a volleyball joint where you could play, volleyball. And then, we had our own laundry room. It was, and then you could rent out garages where you could park your car in the garage. It was nice. I was only paying $8.95 for that. He was like, yo, if I got something like this in New York, it would be damn near $2,000-$3,000 for one bedroom. That's crazy to me. That's crazy. There's no way in the world. Let me tell you something. You would have to pay me a crazy amount of money to live in New York. And let me tell you, seriously, I'm not even lying. I would commute. If you were paying me a ridiculous amount of money to live in New York, I still wouldn't live in New York. I would just commute. Straight up. It's that plain and simple. I don't see why in the hell y'all still living in New York. I just don't. For the rest of you all, because a lot of people have left New York for the good reasons. You understand? Like, New York is, to me, it's turning into, have you ever seen that movie called Demolition Man with Wesley Snipes and Sylvester Stallone? That's what New York is turning into. There's no more middle class. There's just going to be a low class, where the low class is never going to get out, never going to be able to get ahead, and then you're going to have the high class. You know what I'm saying? Where, rich, wealthy people going to always have money, and it's just that, plain and simple. I'm not telling you that the South is perfect. I'm not even telling you to move to Charlotte in specific. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm just telling you, don't you want better for yourself? Straight up. I couldn't have half of the stuff that I have and live in an area that I live in if I was living in New York. No way. No way. I live a very peaceful life, man. You understand? It's so peaceful to the point where I walk around, and most of the time that I walk around, I'm wearing flip-flops. I don't have to deal with the salty, nasty people. You see what I'm saying? That just got a shitty life, that's riding the train, and I'm looking around and everybody's quiet and just all looking gray. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you do that every day? How do you ride the bus every day? How do you deal with a whole bunch of people around that's just fucking mean all the time? I like it when people say, hey y'all, how you doing? I I like that. I don't give a fuck how country they are. I love Southern hospitality. I love for people to be nice and it's this one young girl, right? Works at the grocery store. She works in the self-checkout area, right? I just saw her just tonight. And she's like, she's country as hell. Hey, how you doing? Blah, 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 blah. And if you ever seen a Care Bear cartoon, she epitomizes that. You see what I'm saying? Like, I love seeing her because she just brings me joy. Period. But if I were in New York, I would never get that. Never. Don't you want to be in a situation where you're not dealing with the hustle and bustle every day? You know what I'm saying? You working 2, 3, 4, 5 jobs. You all are working 2, 3, 4, 5 jobs to maintain a lifestyle that I'm living, and I don't even work at all. I'm an entrepreneur. I work for myself. I make money. I make my money. And you all are busting your asses sun up to sundown. I know it. I seen it with my own eyes. Some of you women out there, most of you women out there in New York, you know what I'm saying? You got 2, 3, 4, 5 jobs, and then after you get off of those 2, 3, 4, 5 jobs, you go to college at night or some shit like that. Man, I can't do that shit. You know what I'm saying? Then you gotta come out of the subway, it's freezing cold, it's damn 10 feet of fucking snow everywhere. Man, I couldn't do that, man. I don't see how y'all are doing it. Period. I mean, yo, listen. If you're still doing it, my props goes up to you. You are a real New Yorker. Straight up. I couldn't do it, man. Crime, taxes, people all cluttered up, and streets is dirty. You know what I'm saying? Man, if you ever come down here, if you ever like, I say from Philly on down, you start to experience a different type of air, you know, oxygen. I mean, the air is clear, it's clean. It ain't great, you know, it's still, you know, factories and businesses and trucks and all of that stuff that's, you know, messing up the ozone layer and poisoning the air, but it's not as bad as New York. When I was living here, I just felt dead inside. Just felt that way, man. I mean, hey man, if you want to feel that way and you want to continue to live in New York, to each his own. You do you. You know what I'm saying? This video wasn't intended to be disrespectful. It was just intended to inspire people. You know, you might be on that edge. You might be saying, yo, you know, man, I really want to move out, but man, I've been here all my life and I just don't know. I'm scared and blah, blah, blah. Listen, do it. I'm telling you, once you do it, you're never going to regret it.